I think one of the hardest things about being a contractor, just to be honest, is keeping the books full. I mean, whether you're starting out, whether you're, in a matured business or in a transitional period, beginning phases, it doesn't matter. A winter will always strike, whether it's in the summer or not. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. I'm the COO of our business, and I bring in over 1.5 million for our company every year. And we do pretty well. We do pretty well. The company bills about 2.5 million a year. But one thing that we were realizing was last year, we were bidding so much work and getting so much work that we started losing the grasp on our schedule, which was a great problem to have. But it didn't feel like our schedule anymore. We weren't running our company, it felt like. It felt like we were an employee. And that sucks. When you're running a company, one of the biggest prides that you have is that you're your own boss, right? You have the freedoms that and luxuries that employees don't necessarily have. And that's why we work so hard to have what we have. Be your own boss. In this transitional period, we decided we didn't want to do so much of this specific work because we lost the ability to just feel like we were the owners of our own schedule. And so we started transitioning into more of the work and the clients, really, that we're desiring. In that transitional period, winter came. And when you stop bidding as much of the consistent work that you're doing, you going through a transition and you just don't have as much work. And that happened on top of winter, which is slow anyway. So it was a really dead winter just a few months ago. But it was really cool because it gave me the opportunity where I needed to figure out what to do to bring in more business like that. Because it was like, we're paying our guys to sit home. So I had to come up with something. And what I came up with was a few ideas, but the one that I executed and worked really well for us was to do a sell, okay? To do a discount, a winter discount, okay? And it worked phenomenally. Essentially, all I needed to do was I took, bidding opportunities, right? So I reached out to a few reoccurring clients that we had, and one really latched onto this idea. And so I just called everybody up saying, "Hey, we're doing a winter sale, or what did I call it? Winter discount, rather, is what I said." And I said, from now till March, we're discounting all of our work by 30%. And so they're like, "Oh, wow, okay," piqued the interest. And then it got me to look at a few jobs with them, and I started bidding for them, okay? And it was really simple. All I did was took a look at this job, and a lot of this work ended up being kind of concrete work for this client, which ended up being the school. And so he is the I guess like maintenance director, maybe is the right word. He overlooks multiple schools, whether it's elementary, middle school, and he just makes sure the maintenance is kept up. And we looked at a lot of concrete work. And the way I priced this was simply more aggressive. So I was going to price it this way anyways because I need the work, right? Anytime we have a lot of work, we can kind of add some extra fluff, that padded profit. But when we're tighter and we need the jobs, we just need to, basically, tighten the times, tighten the price, tighten the margins that we have for profit, whatnot, but still bid it comfortably. I just did that. That was all I did. I mean, so in an average way, I discounted it maybe 10%, okay? But I advertised that I discounted it by 30%. And they loved it. They gave us $100,000 worth of work in this time that we had like no work. So what this did was psychologically for him, he's seeing a massive discount. I have the price here, say, you know, let's just say 10 grand for easy math, okay? Let's say it was 10 grand, and then I discounted it 30%. So now he's seeing, oh wow, 10 grand, discount 30% with a new total of 7 grand. Holy crap, 3 grand savings. Not really. I was gonna bid it at 7 grand anyways, because I know I'm covered that way and everything's gonna be, perfectly good for me. I'm still gonna make profit. I keep my guys busy, all of that good stuff. But he perceives a massive discount. And they just started latching on to these, saying, hey, come look at the next one, come look at the next one. Oh, this is great. Literally, I can't even count how, must have done like at least 15 jobs for them in the course of like 3 months. That's a lot. I mean, previously this customer was like giving us maybe, I don't know, 3 to 4, maybe 5 projects out of a whole year. And they gave us like 15 in the winter. It was a lot. And so, a lot of these were a little bit smaller projects. That's fine. I kept the guys busy. I kept the company profitable through a dead time in a transitional period. And so the value that I found with giving these perceived discounts, even in the construction field, because I know you see it all the time with, Kohl's or whatever. I mean, your wife latches on to these sales, and they're not actually big sales. Sometimes. But a lot of the time, all it is the perceived savings makes you go, wow, what a good deal. I have to buy it while it happens now. And so the way I structured it, to reiterate, was I gave a time frame. I said basically from now, which was December, to March. Okay, so any jobs after March, sorry, no go. So that shows that this will not be forever. Okay, this is a tight time frame that you'll be able to perceive this amount of savings, which was 30%. And I just inflated the initial price because they don't know what the initial price is. As a contractor, everything's always different. Sometimes you can go with like a rough idea of a consistent square foot price, but most of the time you look at it and it's just a different thing. And so he never knew what the original price was. Make that bigger, show a bigger savings, which was going to be that anyways, and you'll get customers turn around and say, hey, let's get on the books immediately. Let's do this. And so if you're starting out, you might not have a bunch of existing clients that you can do this with, but reach out to family, reach out to friends. And then if you exhaust those options, go out to these schools, go out to homeowners, post just papers saying, hey, 30% winter discount, 30% spring cleaning discount. You just whatever, name it whatever. And you'll start getting a lot of business that way because so many people will perceive, wow, this is a big savings. And you do need to still bid a aggressive-ish number because otherwise, it still needs to be like an actual 10% discount from what you normally do. Because otherwise, people would just be like, what the hell? Like, this guy's way too expensive because 5 grand, I could have Joe Schmo do it for 4,800 anyways, right? So then, that doesn't really work. But if you come in at like 4,200 or whatever, and then perceive it as a 30% discount, people will be like, wow, what a value. And you'll get a lot of business this way. So it's the cheat code. It's the cheat code. I mean, I'm going to be using this every single winter. And anytime that I feel like I just want to get more jobs on the books, it just impacts. I mean, people just jump at the gun for discounts. So that's what I recommend. And to further show the story, just to further drive the point, I should say, we were getting towards the end, late February, and this was like the 12th job that I bid for them. So I was just like, we'll just put the number down, not show the perceived discount and just give the number, right? And they're like, and this was the number that I was going to bid anyways, just like that aggressive number. And they're like, oh, hey, are you going to give the discount? Like, this seems really expensive. Like, oh my gosh. And it was
the exact same price. Here's the funny thing. It was the exact same price as another job that I looked at them just like 2 weeks ago. And it was the exact same thing. So it was just the same price. So I didn't think I needed to show the perceived savings. And it was like $1,500 or something like that, okay? But this one I had the, you saved 30%, look how much it could have been. And then this one was just like, here's $1,500. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's kind of really expensive. Are you still gonna do the sale? And I was like, so I had to explain it to them, but the psychology, it was the same price. I gave him one just 2 weeks ago. But because it didn't show that it was a massive savings, he was like, whoa, dude. So do sales, do discounts. You will get so much work doing this. I don't mean to rant on about it, but it just like, dude, kind of blew my mind. So utilize this. This is a very, very good technique that will get you clients and will keep your books full. So that way you can stay an entrepreneur and maintain your business. You deserve it. So I hope you find a lot of value in this. Start utilizing that. If you have any questions, please just ask me in the comments, DM me, whatever you need to do. I'm happy to help. This is what I enjoy doing. And on top of that, down below, I have a few links. If you're interested in watching more videos, please, love that, man. I have a free newsletter that I give a lot of resources to. But if you're very serious about growing your business and you really are looking to reach the success point that you want to, I work with contractors one-to-one and I help them grow their business. I just dump all my knowledge into them, help them tweak the things that they need to, and just spice up what they need to get to the success that they're looking for. So if you're interested, I got a link below and we can have a chat and see if you're a good fit. But anyways, thanks for watching. Good luck. See ya.